Check out the link in the description to get our brand new t-shirt. All proceeds support the channel so we can keep making new videos. So before starting this video, I'm just going to warn you that I kind of repeat myself a lot throughout the video, and the reason for that is I didn't have a lot of video content to work with, and I also spanned over a very long period of time between the beginning and end of video as I kind of sporadically worked on the vehicle. So I apologize if it sounds repetitive, but I still think you guys can learn a few things and get an idea of what I've been working on. So I would say this starts probably around early July up until late August or so 2 months kind of condensed down into this video. So enjoy, and hopefully you will like the video and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to get future videos whenever I release them. So let's get into it. Alright YouTube, welcome to part 4 of the JeepAndBass rebuild, and we're looking at a fairly empty vehicle at this point. I've been working on it quite a bit, just kind of cleaning up, and if you guys can't tell, we're back to a stock roof. Isn't that amazing? I spent the last several days pulling down the sound deadener, and it was not easy, but it's doable, and I'm very happy. I want to just go through this whole thing, redo all the patches of cheap materials and better materials and destroyed materials, and really go through it and clean it out. That's kind of been my whole goal. So that's what we're working on. We'll go over that in this video. Also, I did announce the other night in my live stream that we did that I am not walling the Jeep again, and so for those of you who didn't see that, this is your first time hearing it. Basically, we're going to be more or less restoring the Jeep back to a original style Jeep. I would like to put a lift kit on it, kind of go through the front end, all the suspension, get everything roadworthy again so it's more safe as we drive it around. I want to get my full interior reinstalled and cleaned up, so we'll be going over the next several videos and getting all that done. And then of course we're gonna have a big system in here, but it's not gonna be a walled system anymore. I'm downsizing for a lot of reasons, and I was gonna put on a long video explaining all that stuff, and I felt like we didn't need the long explanation. We needed some positive outlooks, and I am pretty happy with my decision right now. So to bring some positivity to the world, we're not uploading that video, we're uploading this video. We're gonna continue work on the Jeep. And if you guys are a little sad that we're not rewalling the Jeep, don't be, because probably later into the summer we'll be doing a lot of work on Craig's wall in his Astrovan, and we're turning it into a demo build. It's going to be insane, way more insane than this could ever be. So that's where this is going. I think this is a great opportunity for you guys to watch me restore the Jeep back to its former glory and install a smaller caliber system that is probably more in line with what a lot of my subscribers have in their vehicles. More of a daily style system. It's still going to be a big heavy hitter, putting a lot of power on it, but maybe it's exciting for you guys to get an idea of what you could do if you just grabbed one of these Jeeps or a similar vehicle and toss some system in it, behind the back seat. That's what I'm aiming to do with this thing, and it's a totally different turn for the channel than I ever anticipated, and I feel like the build is coming full circle now. We started small, went as big as you probably could go, and now we're kind of coming back, and we're all doing it in the same vehicle. But in order to come full circle, we have to do a lot of repairing. So as far as the inside goes, I'm pulling out all the spray foam. This is kind of what I was using to seal the wall in before, and I just got to get it all emptied out there because I'm putting the factory interior back in this thing, and I don't want all this foam in it. This side's been cleaned out, so we're back to factory. It's ready for sound deadener, and I think I'm gonna do a little bit of welding to fix some of these things that are broken. But overall, she's back. You can see how I plug welded to the vehicle. So I made sure that this where the door shuts is nice and strong. As far as the roof goes, you can see it's got some breaks in it, so I gotta try to patch these in. And I think it broke there too. A lot of those breaks were from my no wall build that I used to have, so I want to reinforce that before putting new sound in there. But surprisingly, this vehicle for years was doing over 160 decibels, very low frequency, and the roof is perfect shape somehow. And I think the reason is this stuff I use. I recommend this to a lot of people when they ask what to do with these roof braces. This is like a roofing material, and this is over 6 years old and it's still very pliable and kind of gummy, but it's really stuck on. You can't get the stuff off. Maybe you can pull at it all you want. So I'll put a link in the description so you can find that. But it's a roofing material you can get at your local hardware store. And I always fill these braces with it before I do sound deadener. The only downside of this stuff is that sound deadener will not stick to it. But it's from the Loctite brand. It's a roofing material, caulking, and definitely worthwhile. It saved my roof, I believe, because it allowed the roof to move, but it didn't allow it to move so much that it would like rip the metal or anything. So, a little tip for you guys. Last thing I'll mention is everyone's asked how I run my wires around the wall. Well, luckily in these two-door Jeeps, there's access right here, and my wall used to be right here. And so what I did was I spray foamed in a PVC pipe. So there's a PVC pipe in there. And basically I route all my wiring through that pipe, and the pipe pops up over on this end. That's all my wiring. So there's a little thing I found I could do in this vehicle. If you have a four-door vehicle, then you might have to find a different way. All right, good morning YouTube. We are about to get to work on the Jeep. I'm doing quite a bit with just stripping out the interior. We got all the sound deadener out of the vehicle that I'm going to pull. I'm sick of pulling out deadener. All the stuff on that floor up there probably get covered with another layer, and we'll call it good. But we stripped out pretty much everything, and we'll have a fresh slate. I need to do some welding, so this video will be a lot of welding and repairing of the Jeep from things I did when I had the wall. So like I gotta patch that hole in the fender there, and got holes in the floor I gotta weld in. I started doing some repairs to the B-pillars. So as you can see, these are pretty trashed. They're all cracked and broken from the wall build. And I'm gonna transform them from that over to something like this. Nice and solid and new. Then we'll get it painted up. I got paint made and everything to match the Jeep. So we got that going on. And then I have to reinstall some of these brackets. Basically we're bringing the Jeep back to a stock style interior, and there's like some seat brackets I got to weld on that were from the original, and then they were taken out when the wall was put in, and I'm going to reinstall them. So we're kind of restoring the Jeep in a sense, as best as we can, considering all the things I've done with it. And then we have to address some water leaks. I found one up in the roof there, and we'll be addressing that. So we'll get through that all this video. Hopefully you guys will stick along. Not so much audio related yet, but we'll still do a decent build in here, but it will be a no wall setup. And yeah, so that's where we're at. Alright, so did a lot of work. I'm trying to patch this thing up, and I did a lot of welding to fill in all the screw holes. So these are all the screw holes that were basically where I had attached the old frame at the wall. And I did a lot of welding to plug them, but the metal's really thin on this Jeep and it's hard to do a nice weld and actually, you know, plug these holes. And I also know that the fuel tank is under here and the fuel lines and the fuel system. So what I did was I ended up just caulking this stuff. I'm trying this stuff out because I couldn't find what I normally use. What I normally use is this stuff, and I want to show you guys. So this is like a really hard rubbery stuff, and it stretches really far and it doesn't come off. I mean, it's really hard to rip this stuff off. I mean, there's a little chunk of it, but it's not going to come off the surface generally. It's been up there for years, and I believe it's some of what saved my roof, because I was able to attach these braces on here. And you'll have to go online and look it up, but it is the Loctite brand, but it's called PSL or something like that. It's got a different name, and it's black. But it's generally the same stuff as this white stuff. It looks like. I mean, it comes out and seems to be the same, but you can tell it sticks to metal really well. It's not coming off. So this might actually work too. But you get a bunch of tubes of it, and I'll try to look it up, and I'll put it in the description for this original stuff, because I like this for sure. The white stuff, I'm not sure if it's the same formula or what it is. It's definitely not called the same thing. But I'll look it up, put it in the description. But anyway, before you do sound deadener, put this stuff in the roof braces. Trust me, it connects them to the roof. And a side note with that stuff is try not to like do what I did here, where it's out in the metal. Because number one, it won't come off. And number two, sound deadener doesn't stick to it very well. So you want to actually like focus it into where these braces are. But people ask me all the time about, you know, how do you sound deaden the braces? I would definitely use something similar to this. Definitely want to be like a polyurethane style, because it's going to have a lot of stretch and it's going to stick really well. Alright, so I did some cleaning, and I'm actually really impressed with what Simple Green can do. It cleaned a lot of the old residue that was on the sound deadener. So if we go over here, you can see that this roof has this dark coloring, and that was just all that residue that was on the old deadener. And you can see over there it starts eating it up. Wipe it down. I actually wiped this area really good, and it's basically back to factory. You can see it clean. And this all had the old deadener and tons of residue on it, and I cleaned it down pretty good. So I think the last thing is, I'm not completely sure if the Simple Green leaves a residue. It looks like it might, if you look at it in the lighting correctly. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a soap and just soap everything down, soap and water, and really wipe it clean. And I can start applying sound deadener like brand new. So I've done the back two panels of the roof, and that might be as far as I get today. And I did all these side panels, so hopefully we get those wrapped in deadener. But I'm pretty impressed. This thing looks as close to stock as it will ever get again. I mean, to you folks, it probably doesn't look very good, but it's waterproofed, it's cleaned, and it'll look cool once I get all the black deadener on the whole thing and it's all consistent looking. And we'll do the floor too. I hopefully will have enough. If not, I'll order another box. But I got 3 boxes, so we'll see how far it goes. But yeah, folks, let's get on with it. Just ahead, I've done a lot of work. You can see there's a lot of work. I got deadener, 100% coverage on the whole Jeep so far, except for little bits there. I want to do a second layer on the roof, and I have a little bit here on the floor to do in the front that I ran out, and a little on this I ran out. So I've gone ahead and ordered another box of deadener. We have 3.5 boxes in here so far. I have some Sky High mixed in, but versus what the Jeep looked like a few weeks ago, it looks really good now. Everything is fresh and new, and it's nice. Imagine how it looked with the wall though. There was a wall here, and now we're back to completely stock. So I just wanted to show you guys a view that is something I'm proud of, but look at every square inch covered. This panel fits perfect. So this is a factory panel that I snagged out of a parts Jeep that I had. It's going to get bed linered with the tintable Raptor liner. So I'm doing like a tan. So it'd be somewhat similar to this. I'm going to try to play with it so we can see if I can get smoother than this or a little finer. I'm not sure, but I'm going to play with that. So there'll be kind of like a rugged look to the panel. So I got to do a little bit of repair on it. Like this panel's been through a little bit, but I just did a test fit just to kind of see what it's going to fit like. If you guys remember my channel way back, I mean, I had all that interior and I had a cute little system, a couple 12s. And I actually had like speakers built in here, like I built panels and there was a speaker there. Right now, I don't think I'm going to do all that. I'm going to reserve these panels to be edited later on potentially, but just kind of looking at it. Pull this off and you can see everything's 100% deadened on the back side there. And we run our negative wires from the end of the truck and they're going to come through right here into this cavity. So I welded these brackets back in. These are the factory seat braces. And then you get like a little storage down here, so you can see it's kind of creates a storage pocket. And I think I'm going to be able to fit more 4-channel amplifiers in here, one on each side, and hopefully a processor. And those will be the same ones I've been using. They will drive the doors. So the doors are going to be all powered. I'm going to have my pillars up there. I hit up Audio Dynamics and they're sending me new speakers for a lot of it, so I can like refresh everything. Sky High is going to be sending me tons of speaker wire. And we're going to wire everything brand new and really clean, so we'll be doing a full install from scratch for the most part on the Jeep. I just kind of want to give you guys a good view. Let me get back here. I'm kind of crawling around in my socks because I'm trying to keep it really clean in here. Because it's the cleanest it'll ever be, I'm sure. But you can see I got that whole floor done and trying to do that side, and there's my sock. But gives you a glimpse of like how far this thing's come in the last few weeks since I've been working on it. So I'm really proud. It's going to be nice to get this thing back together. She's in good shape despite everything this vehicle's been through. I will be replacing the doors themselves, the actual, Jeep door. I have a set. I just got to go get it painted, and then those get deadened to 100%. I'm going to restain and sand down and all that, these panels to kind of freshen them up, make them feel new again. So yeah, lots of little maintenance things. The Raptor liner I'm most excited about because it's going to really turn these panels into something brand new. So I'll have some prep work, but I'm excited to move on to that. I'm going to be getting my center console put back in. I got to get a new console bracket because it was broke from before, and we're getting some seat covers for now, but eventually reupholster everything. But should be kind of cool. So just giving you guys a good view of everything as I go. I skipped out on getting film of most of the deadener process just because you guys seen this all before, and it was boring and it was tedious and it took several days. But showing you guys the end result is, I think, really where it's at. So everything's covered. This thing is solid. I mean, it sounds good. And I think once the Raptor liner's on these panels, these are going to be pretty stiff, and they fit really snug to everything. So I'm happy about that. So I think this will be a pretty stiffed up interior, ready to take on a pretty decent system. And if you noticed, right here in the corner, I am unpacking a pair of 3.5Ks that I just traded my 5Ks for. So I'm gonna clean these up a little bit, but downgraded back to the amp that made the Jeep famous, the DC 3.5K. And I love these amps with a passion. And the reason why I went to the 3.5K versus the 5K was the 5K is significantly longer. And the layout I'm going to do is these amps are going to be mounted kind of to the sides of each side of the box, 1 amp on each side. And this is my back seat bracket. So the back seat's going to be reinstalled, and it's going to be right here. And then the box, right? Well, the 5Ks are too long. They were going to hit the back hatch almost, and 3.5s fit much better. They're going to be, you know, a little bit less power, but for the system I'm putting together, it's going to be perfect and require less battery to support them. So the next hurdle is figuring out what I'm going to do with batteries. I wanted to make the jump to lithium, but I'm not quite sold on lithium. I have an AGM set up in the front already, tons of alternator charging power. So I'm thinking about fitting some sort of small bank of AGM in here again, and just sticking with full throttle. I really love the batteries, and with the size of the system, I think I'll be okay. So I've got to decide that. But there's also lots of room in these cubbies that I haven't ever utilized, and I'm wondering of a way of fitting a battery on each side and then putting the panel on. Not sure how that'd work out. I was kind of looking at this one and how it fits, and you can see there's some space where this panel's kind of flat. I'm wondering about tucking some sort of like a group 51 or something. I got to get some measurements, and if I could fit the batteries on each side, that would be kind of cool, but then I wouldn't have access to them very easily, so then I'm not sure about that. And then also have to find out whether I can actually do that for competition, or if they're going to be really forcing me to put the batteries, you know, behind the back seat, which I think is going to happen. So my plan for that is to kind of utilize the space that the seat leaves over. So if the seat's at an angle, there's kind of like a triangle being made if I slide a box up to it. And maybe there's enough room for a bank of something, kind of like I used to do on my older builds. So I gotta really just get, you know, forward going on getting the interior in, getting that seat in, and actually getting good measurements and deciding from there. So now that the deadener is almost done, I think the next steps are going to be getting this interior prepared. I got brand new carpet coming. I got, you know, the Raptor liner, so I'll be spraying all these panels brand new. And then I got obviously the wiring and accessories coming, so I can, you know, get everything wired up and tucked away under the carpet cleanly before finishing the interior. Also, new headliner on the way. But that's enough rambling. Just want to get you guys an update, let you really take a good look at it, and hopefully, you know, be excited to see the rest of the build. It's going to come along. It's going to be clean. It's going to be nice. It's definitely a downgrade from before. We had 3 5Ks, a wall, 6 12s, insane amount of batteries, everything, and now kind of returning it back to a modest beginning from where I started. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, guys, and hopefully you're excited. I know I am. It's going to be a nice change and help me kind of transition to the next thing of my life, which is going to be you know, buying a house soon and stuff. So I wanted to downsize. So that's what we're up to, but we're going to do it nice, and we're going to do it right, and it should be loud. So